being part of this retreat, this holiday retreat, every day I feel like it's a Dhamma festival. Part of it, I feel like we're always dressed up for a Dhamma festival. Because as we walk out of our room, we put on our robes. And whenever I put on my robes, I feel like I'm going somewhere more, like going out of the house. You know, you dress up to go out of the house to do something. And coming to the Sangha is coming to a Dhamma festival. I don't know why recently I feel that way, and especially for this retreat. So, in the Dhamma festival, sometimes we get to sit here. You saw many Dhamma teachers, monastics sitting here already, and today is Q&A, question and answer. So, but today is special because you also have a chance to sit here. So not only monastic will sit here this morning, but you also have a chance. And you can come up and ask the questions. And we will try our best to give a response, an insight that we have been cultivating during our time of practicing mindfulness. And those are our insights. It is not yours. So you can take it and reflect it and put it into practice. And if you don't gain insight, then you can find it somewhere else. Don't get caught in our insights, because remember, it is our insight. And when we ask the questions, it's very helpful, at least to us, to keep it short and clear. Because if it's too long, we get lost in the talking, but not know what the question is. And so if you feel like you already have a question in your heart, and you want to ask the question, and whether you're nervous or not nervous sitting here, it doesn't matter. So if you have a question in your heart and you would like to ask, you're welcome to sit on the cushions, and when it's your turn, you can sit here. And we know that when we ask a question, we're not only asking for ourselves, we are asking for everyone in the audience, but also for the monastic also. The question might allow us to experience something very helpful in our life. So, and because this is a family retreat, the young, what do we call? The young awakened mind get to go first. Children program, you get to go first. Yes. So Brother Phap, Dung invite all the children to stand up. Yes. Please come up to support each other. You do not have to ask the question. You just need to sit here. Yes. Sit in front of us. Yeah. Yeah. Face us. Yes. Thank you. This will be very helpful because I always get nervous at the beginning. So seeing your smile face, it helped me calm down. Yes, that's right. Okay. All right. We'll take turn, okay?
Listen to one sound of the bell before you ask your question.
Okay. So this is not only for kids and twins. So after the kid is the twins and twin, and teen, and then young adult and the rest of the Sangha. So just like Prophet Dung has shared, before we ask any question, we will listen to one sound, the bell. And as we listen to the sound, the bell, we come back to our nice, beautiful posture. And then we close our eye and we come back to our breathing. Mm. We can also put our hand on our abdomen. Are you ready to ask the question? Okay. Step number 1. Close your eye. Put your hand on your tummy. There you go. Sit straight like a mountain. And the rest of the Sangha can support him.
Can we play tomorrow? Yeah. Here.
Can you play here tomorrow? Is that your question? Okay. Thank you. Okay.
You have to guess. I'm pretty famous, everybody knows.
I used to have the kid put on the mat and I pull them around. It's so much fun because the ground here. Tomorrow, okay, when we gather here and make a big circle, and I promise, if you're here, we'll let you, I'll slide you around, okay, Blake? Yeah, maybe. Okay, we'll see if they're courageous like you, okay? Well, thank you, Blake. We'll see you tomorrow and we'll play, okay? Okay, next person, stand up, go to your seat, sit down, close your eyes. Everyone close your eyes, right? Close your eyes, follow your breathing. Just let the question come to you, okay?
I have an announcement. Do you want? Can I eat dinner tomorrow?
Lettuce? Can you eat lettuce tomorrow? Is that what you said?
Can we eat dinner tomorrow?
That's a good question. Can she eat dinner here tomorrow?
Yes, if your family is still here, okay? Right? At least you'll eat lunch and then we'll see after that. But later we'll have lunch today and we'll have dinner today too. So that's very good, huh? Don't worry about tomorrow. You have 2 meals coming up today, okay? Thank you. What is your name? Anna. Oh, thank you, Anna. Okay, one more question.
Maybe we have an older kid? You have
Any
older kids?
Okay. There you go. Careful that flower there.
Of course, I know her name.
Now, follow your breathing. Close your eyes. Everyone, close your eyes. Sit beautifully. We'll listen to the sound as well.
It's okay. Tell us your name first.
What is your name?
Isabella.
Isabella.
How long have you been coming?
I don't know. Yes.
Why do all the monastics wear brown robes? Look, color brown. Why do all the monastics wear brown or brown robes?
Thank you. Sorry. Why do we always wear brown robe? Yes, robe usually are brown. But we also wear other color socks, see? We like all colors, so that's for sure. Yes, but we wear brown because is it talk a lot about the earth, because a lot of the earth color is brown, and we want to be a little bit like the earth, because we know we can learn a lot from the earth, especially now. So we like that. I also like green and blue, but maybe that's the future color. Maybe when you ordain, like become like us, not you or any of you, your generation. Maybe when your generation is monastics, maybe you wear green and blue. Yeah. So please ordain and change the color.
It's different. The Chinese monastic wear different color. The Koreans wear different color. The Tibetan monastic wear different color, right? So you ever heard of sports teams? They have uniform. Yeah, like the Spanish soccer team have one uniform. You play soccer? Yeah. You have uniform? Yeah. So this is like our uniform. It reminds us like we play the sport of meditation. And we watch the ball go back and forth in our head. Okay? So our brown is just the color. Vietnamese monastic. A lot of Vietnamese monastics, they wear brown. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so when you see us, you know Vietnamese, and then the Tibetan, the Chinese. They are each country, right? Just like in sports. Or sometimes you go to the airport and you see a whole crew of people who take care of you on the airplane. They have uniform too, right? You notice all their luggage? It's black. It's all one shape. So they all have uniform. So that's what they're brown. That's right. We only have one uniform, this one, okay? Okay, now I'm going to share with you something. Everyone come closer around the center here, the back. Squeeze together, okay? Before you leave, I want to share with you something. Yeah, but back up. Don't get too close. Okay, I have something for you, okay? But you have to close your eyes, and you have to guess what it is. You go sit down. You can't look, because you have to guess what it is. Okay? Don't peek, okay? I will share with you what it is, but you have to try to guess what it is first. You know what is a mindfulness bell, right? You know what's a mindfulness bell? When you hear, what do? You breathe? Yeah, you stop. Okay, this is another bell that we have here at Deer Park. Very special, and you have to figure out what it is, okay? Close your eyes. All the adults, you close your eyes too. Don't peek, okay? Don't look. Okay, what is that? Yes, wonderful. Yes. Yes. This, one of my brother found it on the mountain while he's hiking. It's the tail of a rattlesnake, you see? So they make the noise by shaking it. So it's a kind of bell. What? Yeah, don't touch it. Very delicate. Sit down. Let me tell you, sit down. Yes, look. See? When he was hiking, he saw it on the path. And it probably came off of a snake that passed away and it dried. And the skin was barely there. So the only thing left was this. The skin all deteriorate. But this is kind of, you know what the material is? It's like your hair. Touch your hair. Yeah. This is the same material called keratin. So it's kind of like your nails too. So if you look close, it's like it has a very, it curls around like a spiral and it wraps itself and it makes little pockets. And the rattlesnake shakes its tail and it makes this. See? And when you hear this, what happens? When you hear this, have you ever heard this in the wild? Oh, okay. I have to take you on more dangerous hikes. Yes. We have a lot of rattlesnake here. Right now is winter time, so they're all hibernating. They sneak under a rock and they go to sleep. And you know what they do? They slow down their breathing. So in a way, the rattlesnakes, they know how to rest. Okay? And then when it comes springtime and it gets warmer, they wake up and they come out. And this is their bell. When you hear this, you know what I do? No, they're living animals, right? They're called legless animals. Oh yes, they're monks because they're kind of a monk. They have a bell. So when I go hiking and I hear this, what do? I immediately stop and I follow my breathing, and then it's still going like that, and then it reminds me where it is. Okay? So next time you hear this, don't freak out and run. Because most of the people who get bitten, because they run, where they run? Right into the snake. Because they freak out and usually they jump, and the snake will only bite you if you invade their space. Okay? So if the snake is this long, right? It can only jump about 2/3 of the because it needs 1/3 of the tail to hold onto the ground. Okay? So usually you're pretty safe. It makes this noise when you're like, 10 feet away. There's no way they can bite you like that. So many people, when they hear this, what do? They panic, right? And what do? They run right towards the snake. Baboosh. And that's a lot of time the snake doesn't want to bite you. That's why it goes like this. Yes, they are very poor. If it bite you, I have to call the helicopter, and a helicopter much faster. You go hiking, and next time, remember, you hear this, stop, right, and follow your breathing. And then when you do that, you stop. You hear more clearly. That's right. What's that? What's that? Yeah, that's why I want to share with you what this is. Yeah. So what I learned is that when I see many snakes when I hike, and every time I hear this, I stop, I breathe, and every time I hear it, actually, it's like I feel really so happy for the snake. It reminds me. So the snake doesn't really want to bite you, so that's why it makes this noise. Isn't that nice? But most of the time when we hear this, we like freak out and we run in the wrong place. Yeah. Yes, that's right. Yeah, it doesn't want to bite you because you're so big. It can't swallow you, right? So it does this because it wants to let you know, hey, don't come near me, please. I don't want to bite you. But most people, they make a mistake. Yeah. So that's a kind of bell, right? If anytime you hear this, outside of the meditation hall, remember, just stop, breathe a little bit, calm, and know where, try to listen to know where it's coming from, and then back off slowly. Okay? And then go call your mom and dad. Or go get one of the brown monk and nun, okay? Yes, you can call me anytime. I have a special way to catch them. Okay? So, yes. Yeah, it's very hard to find me. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for. Okay. Yes. Try to find me. It's very hard. Okay? I can't even find myself. Yeah? Okay. So, with the next sound of the bell, everyone can stand up. And you can turn around and look at your mom and dad and bow to them, okay? So my sister will bite the small bell. Okay. Okay, stand up. Turn around and offer a flower at your heart. When you hear the bell, you can bow to our mom and dad and our uncles and auntie, okay? Okay, bow down. Now you can go outside and play. See you later, okay? Thank you for being here.
Do we have any tween and teen here? No. Okay. Let's listen to one more sound, the bell. We invite the young adult, if you have questions, please come and follow the rest of the Sangha.
Hello, everyone. I'm a really curious person. I have one question, maybe two questions. Maybe all these two questions related to each other. Why we? I say like most people, not all of us. Like why most people get nervous easily? Why we are afraid attention? Why we want to, when we do something, we want to do things more perfectly or close to perfect. Why?
Okay. Why do we feel nervous? And why do we have a lot of anxiety being in front of fun, like right now? And what's the last one? Why we want to be perfect in our actions, at least. Okay, I'll do this because I'm also nervous right now. Maybe it might be helpful. It might not because I'm in that state right now. But I remember growing up, I was very shy, super shy. To sit here, I think it required the whole Sangha and my teacher, Thai, to push me, like, not only like just like go up there, but he physically pushed me to be here right now. So I'm right here right now. I think a big part of it is the encouragement from Thai, our teacher. From someone we have a lot of trust in. So that is what it is. And I had a lot of trust in my teacher. So because of that, I do it because I had a lot of trust. But I think the other big encouragement is the Sangha, my community. I am part of it, and I have a lot of trust in my Sangha, and I have a lot of love, and I see there are a lot of values, and also is the kind of lifestyle that I want to invest in the future generations. So it's for those reasons it encouraged me to step up and be in front. Although I think I'm still very shy, but I think a lot of time I'm up here is because I love my Sangha, I love the teachings, and I want to transmit that to the next generation. And because I think one of the reasons why I get nervous and a lot of anxiety when I'm up front is because maybe I just didn't do it enough. Like in the culture that I'm growing up, being Vietnamese, I think there's a big part of an Asian culture that we're not up front so much. So because of it, I have very little chance of being upfront. So if we want to do anything comfortable, I feel we need to do enough. If not a lot, at least enough. And I feel like I haven't done enough yet. This is a dangerous thing to say right now. But I see a big part of it is because I haven't done it enough. So every time I'm up here, I'm not comfortable in this space. Yeah? And it takes time to learn and experience what is it to be up here. Sitting here, how do I feel? Why do I have anxiety? Why do I feel nervous? And from that understanding, in my daily life, I will find way, skillful means to practice with those strong emotions, with my anxiety, my nervousness, my shyness, so that anytime that I need to sit here, I can be better at it.
Add one, like similar question. I mean, just now you mentioned Asian culture. Yes, I totally agree. But is this the human nature? Like people easily to get nervous. Like I don't know, Western people, like most of you guys, is also easily to get nervous. So it's just for some cultures issues. Yeah, I'm just curious.
Okay. Well, can I finish first? It will be very helpful with my nervousness and anxiety right now. So, yes. And the perfectionist is, I think that's a very deep question. And I think the big root of it for me is I want to be accepted. I want to be loved. I want people to see me and love me and accept me. So I want to do the best that I can so people can do that for me. So, that's what we're striving for. But We talk about perfections, but there's no such thing, even if we want to. Like, that's what I want to, because I want to be loved. I want to be accepted. So I want to be perfect. But there's no such thing, which just means is we want to do the best that we can, and also mean that, but the best is already what you are. I think what we're asking for is, why can't I do the same thing as someone else is doing? I think that's what perfection in our perception is. Why can't I do exactly the same thing that person is doing? Because when that person is doing that, people love it. People love it. But the thing is, the thing that we do, people also love it. And we need to have a lot of faith and and remind ourselves that there are things that we do that people really love, and they see the beauty in our daily actions, and we need to remember that, come back and see that for ourselves. Because a lot of time what we see is, and what we remind ourselves is what others do that make everyone smile. But we forget there's a lot of things that we do that also make other people smile. But I think we random do that. So that's what I try to do now. Is like, what are some of the things that I do that make everyone smile? And the first thing is, I smile, and then other people smile. So there you go. That's one thing. That's one thing for sure. But this is also something that we can look more. We can sit down, and we can reflect a little bit more. What is it that about us that is so beautiful? I'm sure there is a lot of things beautiful about ourselves, but this is something we need to look into. A lot of time, we don't even need to look deeply. We just need to sit down and see, what is it beautiful about me? And then slowly we see deeper and deeper and deeper. Okay. The monastery say that's enough. So it's because we want to save time for other people. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for answering this question. My question is, how do I learn to love people who I'm competing against? Because in school, I have people who, if they get an A, that will mean it gets curved, and so I often feel a lot of animosity towards them. And I want to love them, but I also realize that in reality, maybe a part of me wants them to do bad so I can do good. Thank you.
Dear Thai, dear Sangha, well, I'm very humbled to be up here with the brothers and sisters. I'm one of the younger monks in Deer Park, and they invite me to come up. So I'll do my best to answer your question. I think the first step is to clarify what your intention is, what your where is this feeling coming from that you want to, or this intention coming from that you want to love the people you're competing against? Because it could be that it comes from feeling like it's wrong to wish the other people to do poorly, or it could also come from like a more altruistic or compassionate energy, that like you want to cultivate that energy in yourself and you see this as an obstacle to that. So that's the first thing. If you feel like guilty about it, about feeling like you want others to do poorly, definitely just take time to be with that and let yourself know that that's very natural and normal. And of course, you need to take care of yourself first of all, and you know your path in life. And so you have to take responsibility for that. So I understand why you would have the competitive attitude. I think in the long term, over the course of a life, the thing that will bring us the most happiness is actually letting go of our individual success and accomplishment, and helping others and helping those around us to succeed and enjoy their success. So that's something to train in, because it might not be as intuitive, but it will serve you very well the rest of your life to have the intention to help others, and even sometimes let go of your success, I guess. And because I think we all want to do well in school, or we all want to get the good award or internship or something like that, because we want to be happy. And we think if we can have a successful career or have good grades, then it will help us to be happier. But that's not really true, actually. And we'll be much happier when we open the circle of our love to embrace everyone. And maybe you know that already, and that's why you're asking your question. So I would maybe try to help your classmates to do better, to study and to learn, and you can try a little bit less hard on the test, so that someone will get the A, and then you will receive the B. Thank you for your question.
I want to share you a story one time when I was in France, in Plum Village, and a lot of brothers in Upper Hamlet, we like to watch soccer. And you know, in Europe, soccer is like crazy. And that year, it was Brazil or Spain or something against, it was Germany against Spain or something like that. And the brothers organized it to watch it in the big hall, like with the huge screen. And all the Hamlets came, the lay friends came, even the sisters came, and they got good seats, everything. I mean, it's incredible. And I think it wasn't French, it was Spanish. It was like that, a really good team. Anyway, I don't like soccer, but I get into it. I like watching people react to it. Anyways, it was there was a lot of Spanish in the crowd, and they were, of course, rooting for their country. There are a lot of Germans too, because in France it's very international. And I remember I sat outside watching, and the Germans like murdered like the other team. It was so scary to watch. I mean, they were so good. Like every time they were on the attack, they succeeded, and you saw it coming. So you can see the Spanish practitioners in our community started to you can feel there's something psychological happening here. And so I felt that energy, and I went out of the meditation hall, and the doors were open. I watched, and there were like these young men out there, young adults like your age. They're definitely German, because they were saying stuff, like really you get into it, and they were winning, and they were like, I think they were like rooting, and like they lost themselves. I can see they overdid it. They're no longer a practitioner, but they're like, you can tell that they've lost them. And then, of course, the Germans finally won. Like the score was so lopsided. And as they were celebrating outside, the mother came out with her kids, like a few boys, and they were crying. And the boy was like having an attack because he was so devastated. And I'll never forget to watch this group of young men. They looked over and saw the young one crying. And it was so beautiful to see them kind of like stop their celebration. And I think they woke up. I didn't ask them about it, but I never forget that moment. How you invest in something. I mean, it's just a game. But like they just got into it, and you lose your humanity in a way. And what that little boy laying on the ground, kicking, and the mother so devastated to see, like, it's just a game, but it's like destroying something in the boy. And this is the culture that we are, it's just a sport, and as I stayed in Upper Hamlet, I started to follow my brothers, and I got to know the French team, and then the Spanish team, and then the Brazilian team. And then you kind of like invest yourself into it, and then you start to watch it, and you're no longer, you have a preference. You're like, oh, yeah. So our culture is like in school, in education, you have to watch how that is being done. So this is, and then you don't lose your humanity. And this is what you're questioning. That you don't want to lose that thing that is the most valuable thing that you have. Even if you succeed, you get the A, you lose something. If you don't protect that humanity, you can come and say, you can apologize to him if you feel, something. Or like my brother said, you try to help other teams succeed. So this is something, look into your education, into when you go to workplace. I used to stay behind to help the other team finish their project as a counter competitiveness in the architectural world is very vicious in the corporate field. And what I found after I practiced Thai's thing is like I stayed after to help them with their project, and they questioned me. Or I would treat them to lunch. I would buy, what is it? The sandwich, Subway sandwiches for the whole team. And they're like, why are you doing that? So you have to counterbalance with generosity. You can still compete. You can still win. But know when you lose it. Okay, and you have to compensate. So this is, of course, you have to be in the world, and there is competition, there is that. But be careful that you don't become a victim of it, and you lose that other thing that keeps you not sleeping so well. So in our chanting, we read the chanting. It says, what is it? To overcome the complex of superiority, inferiority, and equality. It's crazy. And why people always say, what's wrong with equality? Yeah, because they're all based on an ego self-view to compare, right? So this is something as you practice, find ways to compensate. Like my brother said, help others succeed, and when they have an A, you practice to see their success as yours. Oh, that's wonderful. And in fact, if you had something to do with it, it feels even better. So the reward that you get is double. They're happy, and you're also happy. And when you don't do as well, it's like, oh, wonderful, right? And when you do well, and others, there's a cost to it. Make sure you don't lose that part. You know, you're proud, and you make them feel even worse, right? It's like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, like next time we can study together, and maybe we can help each other. So whatever that is, learn how to navigate that so you don't lose, because innately that's what you're feeling, your humanity. And we need more people like that to experiment and learn ways to navigate it, but not, you know, don't do it so that you're a detriment to yourself too. You have to also realize your potential. So thank you for asking a very important question for our situation right now. Thank you.
Hi, dear Sangha. I feel a lot of gratitude to be able to be sitting up here and for all the miracles and favorable conditions that had to come together for us to have spent this week together in sharing in this practice. And so, following that thread, how do you all determine which retreats will be offered in a given year? And why are there fewer retreats next year or this year?
So, dear respected Thai, dear beloved community, I don't know why we how to decide what retreat to organize. When I came to Deer Park or when I came to Plum Village, we kind of already have all these retreats. You know, we in all of our centers every year we will have a family retreat. So we really want to offer an opportunity for family to practice together, and it's so important and so lovely to have a family practice together. I always feel so happy and so grateful when I see family come to a retreat or couples, because we know that when we practice alone, it's much more difficult and challenging. People around us don't know the practice and don't practice. So that's why we really, we are very happy to see family practice together. Also, not only family practice together, but like children have the opportunity to encounter the Dharma at a very young age. And sometimes children are good teachers for parents. So that's why in all of our centers, we cannot have any other retreat but the family retreat. We always have a family retreat because it's offer the opportunity for family to practice together. And in Deer Park, it's something very special about Deer Park is that we have the teen camp. So you imagine that like hundreds teens come together and practice with the monks and the nuns for 5 days, and that is also is very special because we also know that teens experience a lot of difficulties in the life and also at the age. So we also really want to offer them like tools, the practice to support them on their journey. And then wake up retreat, young people they just graduate from teen camp and also facing with a lot of stress and the unknowns about their future. So also having something for them to equip and the tools for them to come to hold on to is very important. So we kind of look, far in the future, how to support certain groups. We also kind of listen to the needs, in a society, in a community. From time to time, we also offer retreat for BIPOC. That's that our BIPOC community also needs and want a space, to practice together and to share. So that's how we also, it's already our intention, how we want to offer and to which group, and also is we listen to the, the needs in the society. Next year, we have a less retreat at the monasteries, but we also have many retreat outside too. Full retreat and a few days retreat. So it's kind of also very full for us next year. And the main reason is that because we want to offer what we have. So we have to practice. We have to deepen and strengthen our practice in order to share with others people. If we don't have that, the space to practice, to come back to strengthening and deepening our practice, it will be difficult for us to offer a quality retreat. So sometimes we see that there's needs in the community to really, like strengthening and deepening our practice. Then we have to to find ways. For example, to offer less retreat for 1 year. And so this is a lot of discussion and listening to the community, to the monastic community, ways to know the needs and how to support our practice, how to offer best, retreat and share with people who come to us. So it's many elements, many conditions come together to make a decision. So it's not easy for us to even cut off one retreat. We have to go through many meetings, many hours to be able to decide which retreat to keep and which retreat that we just cut off this year. So it's not so easy because we know that the demand and also so many people want to come to practice and to have retreat, and that would be very difficult for us, So, but we know we have to take good care of our practice. We have to have we have to offer something that's real, that's a quality, and so that's why we need time to. But we have also have many retreat next year outside too. Thank you for asking. Yes, and also we don't have theme retreat, but every week most of every week that we have seasonal retreat 7 days. People come from Friday till Friday, and stay with the brothers and stay with the sisters, and when we come together to practice on day of mindfulness. Only during the theme retreat that we close, but then outside of the like this, we call theme retreat, we have a seasonal retreat. Thank you.
Dear Sangha, thank you for cultivating this space. My question is rooted in better understanding self in this practice, and I just briefly will say I understand that this practice asks us to focus on self, to heal and to be awakened, and at the same time, this practice asks us to dissolve self, and that a dissolving of self is a deep part of interbeing. So it feels like this beautiful but confusing paradox of, how is the path to, how is focusing on the self the path to unself? How is focusing on the self, the path to unself, I guess is my clear question, and is that a correct understanding? And in the world of so much individualism and in capitalism, I'll stop there, but the focus on the self is, what I'm curious about. Thank you.
I think, let me know if I'm shortening it correctly, huh? How do we practice and take good care of ourselves, but also feel connected to the society? So you're taking care of yourself, but you also feel you're taking care of the society at the same time. Non-self, your non-self.
Yes, actually our practice in our tradition is a lot of focusing of understanding ourselves. So it's not self-centered, but it's because you sit there and you close your eyes, you follow your breathing. So it's a focus on understanding ourselves, and an equal emphasis is also community, the other selves. So this is very important that our teacher has emphasized. And it's very important in how we are evolving in a very individualistic, Thay's frame, the 20th century is a very individualistic culture. And you can see, the whole trickle-down stuff that, ideal, but it doesn't work like that because people are so self-centered. So in our practice, we learn to take care of ourselves, and when you have that, you have the space to see your interrelationship with your father, your mother, your sibling, your family, your neighbor. So taking care of ourselves, understanding ourselves, we can untie all the notions and the knots that we have about ourselves, that we formed while we were being raised by our parents and our relatives and family who don't know how to do that. So we've been transmitted a lot of that nervousness, all that stuff, that competition and things, all these we call affliction. So in Buddhism, it's not about focusing ourselves, becoming self-centered, but it's focused on you need to know how your mind works, how your emotions work, how your body works, how your breathing works. You see? So you really know how to take care of this domain, your body, your mind. And when you can understand why you suffer and why you still react like that, and it comes from the way you were raised, the way you were made fun of when you were a child, the way you were expected to do things. And you look like an adult, but actually, so this is, that's why we focus a lot on understanding ourselves, okay? It's not like self-centered. When you stand at the line to get food, you can be self-centered, or you can be aware, like, oh, I don't need that much. Why am I getting more tofu than I need? And you look and you see there are other people. You see, so it's in understanding ourselves, all of a sudden you have space to understand other people. If you don't understand yourself and know how to take care of yourself, you don't have the space to think about other people. Even the mother, if she does not take care of herself, does not have the space to take care of her child appropriately, skillfully, tenderly. So you see the mother taking care of herself is not selfish. It's actually taking care of the baby. The beautiful story in the Buddhism is there's a father, like a circus performer, a father and a daughter. And the Buddha shared they rely on their performance to make money for feeding themselves. And the father, their act is, the father stands there and the child has to climb on his head to balance something. And that's their act, and people contribute the money. And then they come down, and the father, while they're eating, the father say, I need to take care of you very well, and you need to take care of me so that we can continue to perform this. If we don't do that, then it's very difficult to continue. And the daughter said, no, Daddy, you need to take care of yourself well, keep balance, don't lose balance. I will take care of myself and don't lose balance. That way, we can really support each other. And the Buddha turned to the monks and said, now, dear monks, which one story is the way of practice? And of course, the Buddha said the child had the wise way. So if each person know how to take care of themselves, you will become a refuge for other people. That is the message. Then you, someone who does not fluster in the midst of chaos during the holiday season, you're calm, you're not running around trying to please everybody, all of a sudden you can offer something very important to everyone in your family. You see, so in a way you become a refuge. So when you take care of yourself, you're taking care of so many other activists, people in service need to know this. You need to know how to take care of yourself as a nurse, as a doctor, as an environmental activist, as a racial justice activist. So these are things that we have offered. So our tools here to help you take care of yourself, to untie these things, know how your mind works, know how to stop when you're overloaded, and how to take care of yourself, nourish yourself with the... So in a way, taking care of oneself is taking care of others. So that's what it means. Peace in oneself, peace in the other. There's so much of misunderstanding that there's a question, how do you do that without becoming narcissistic? I can never say that word. It's like a tongue twister. Narcissistic. Yeah, and that's also answering some of the question in there. Because in ourselves is also our parents, it's also our community. And if you want to learn how to do that, you come here, stay 1 year. And you understand. As you asked all the long-termers here, yeah, this is what they get trained in. Outside, you don't get this training. Here, you get this training. Yeah, you see someone taking food less, they start thinking about other people, they start showing up for the community, and so on. So it's a kind of training we need for the 21st century. The interconnection, the interbeing of us, ourselves, the animals, the water, the sky. That is also ourselves. When we eat, we drink, it is the planet. So we are also the planet, the ecosystem. So we don't get caught in the very humanistic, ourselves only as a human species. Now we are waking up to the interconnected, to all living beings and the elements that are also alive. Without the mountain and the sky, the rain, you cannot be. That's very clear. Without the bees pollinating, you're in trouble. We are in trouble. Our freeways are killing all the bugs. Now they're finding out, boy, if we continue to do that, there will be no vegetables. It's amazing what scientists are finding out. The subtle shift in our climate, we're in trouble, and that's where we're at. So you can see clearly the climate, why we're running around trying to protect the climate. What does that have to do with us? Everything. So please help us, not just in your little scope of, but help other living beings and the planet as well. Thank you.
Dear Thai and dear beloved Sangha, thank you for holding space for these questions. My name is Highland. My question is pertaining to the 3 jewels. This is a Dharma festival, so we've been learning about the Dharma, practicing the Dharma amidst the Sangha, and I've learned a lot about those this week. And I was hoping, in the context of being a lay person, you could help me understand how the 3rd jewel, the Buddha, fits into our practice here in the Plum Village tradition.
Why is the Sangha a jewel?
Dear Thai, dear Sangha, just to clarify, you're asking about the Buddha, right? And the Dharma is here, and the Sangha is here. That's very clear. Yeah. Yeah, I love your question. Thank you. I think about this pretty often. I've been practicing touching the earth more recently on my own as part of my personal practice. And there's a lot of different intentions you can have when you practice touching the earth, but the one that I've been beginning my practice with is getting in touch with the energy of awakening in myself. And my deepest aspiration, like the part of myself that, beyond everything else in my daily life, and the little things that might occur to me that I want, but on like an ultimate level, what do I really want? Like, not just when something is tempting me, but that feels like the most meaningful and fulfilling to me. And that's the kind of energy that is in touch with life very deeply, and also very stable, and has a capacity to understand and not to be pulled away by my emotions or my other challenges. And I know that that energy is in me because I've experienced it before. I can experience it when I practice sitting meditation, practice walking meditation, when I listen to a Dharma talk, or when I'm taking my clothes off the clothesline, or washing my dish after a meal. When I bring my mind fully to the present moment, and I am totally here now, and I feel at ease within myself, then I naturally feel this great joy and fulfillment. And that is that energy of the Buddha inside of me, and we all have that capacity, and we all have that energy. Inside of us, and the Dharma helps us to touch it, and the Sangha also helps us to touch it. And if we didn't have that energy in us, then the Dharma could not be really the Dharma, and the Sangha could not be really the Sangha. We are a big group of people, but there's lots of big groups of people that come together to do all kinds of different things, but it's because we're practicing the Dharma and we're getting in touch with that energy within ourselves that we can be called a Sangha. And the same for the Dharma, it helps us to touch that energy. So Thai always teaches us that those three are inter-are. So we can always find one when we find another one, and they always have to manifest together. We have a tendency to always cut reality up into separate pieces, and that's very useful in our daily life, but we can get caught in that and think that that is the ultimate nature of how things are, that things are separate from each other. But what the practice helps us to do is to be aware of that. That's a useful thing, but that's just our conventional way of thinking that's useful in our daily life. But actually, things are deeply, deeply connected. Thank you for your question.
I first want to extend my gratitude because I think that this weekend, or this week, has been a really perfect expression of all the best parts of humanity. But in the context of that perfect outpouring of love, I've been thinking a lot about how deeply imperfect the world is. And so my question, and this pertains to the first training, is within the practice, can we ever justify or support the justification of the use of force to reduce suffering, even if per se it will inflict suffering itself?
I hope I understand it right. How can we reduce suffering? Even those...
Sorry, no. can we ever justify or support using force, which using, in some cases, violence, to reduce suffering, even though that act inflicts suffering?
So how can we reduce suffering, even though sometimes he feel that we can end some suffering with maybe perhaps violence act, that you feel that's kind of violence, yeah, a force that is not very loving kindness, maybe toward a different direction a little bit more. Yeah.
What's important in Buddhism is that we don't, of course, we do not condone any act of killing in the world, in whether we are physically involved, whether we support it as a system, or even think about, at home, kind of, So it's both mental action-wise. Definitely, the Buddha didn't create this, but it's a very sophisticated world. And there's many ways that we are complicit to killing. I mean, being a vegetarian, when you eat, there's probably killing involved. Living in an economic, political system as we do, you know where our tax money goes. So in a way, we don't forget that. So it's not like, and being aware of it, it should motivate us to live differently and to work for the well-being for peace and for the well-being of others. So that's partially why we've also kind of checked out of the system, but then also we're in the system. So we try our best to question the system and so on. But it's very important so you deal with each situation, right? So globally and systemically, you have to educate yourself to know where, people you're supporting, politicians, what they're doing, call them out for it, and so on. So being active. But I have to say also that during a retreat we had in Madison, Wisconsin for law enforcement, and they all carry guns, right? And they had a question and answer, and one of the police officers came up and asked Thai, it's like, I feel, is it possible for me to, carry gun bullets and violent machinery around me and still practice this? And how do I do that? Because, their responsibility, their job is to, use the gun when it's needed. And he feels conflicted. And Thai, I remember, said, if anybody should hold a gun, it should be you who is practicing, who is cultivating compassion in you. That is the best person to be holding the gun. I was like, wow, did Thai just say that? And he's also said it with someone who worked for the technology of making nuclear weapons. He came up one time and asked Thai. And again, Thai surprised me. And that time he didn't surprise me, because that was after the police, law enforcement. Thai said, do not quit. We need you there. They'll replace you, but you're there and you have a conscience and you can navigate and find ways. Do your best. I would add to that. I didn't, say to quit when it's overloaded. But you can see that Thai is not dogmatic. And we need compassionate people to be in the military, in the government, in the system. Although some would argue against that actually usually a movement, a change in the paradigm usually happens outside of the system. So it depends. It's probably both. But here what I want to mention is that do not become dogmatic and judgmental of like all police officers. You understand? You don't know, because that police person might shoot but not kill, but shoot the leg of the aggressor out of compassion, because he has to stop that person from causing harm to a group of other people. But in the moment of shooting, he does not kill the person, but wounds them. So don't be too quick to judge. I was in Palestine, and as I moved about, every block was filled with posts, and there's like 2 person there, young, like you, younger than you. They're probably like still teenage, nose is not developed yet, you know. They look so sweet. They're like full of armory and like this heavy gun. And it was so, I never felt so scared, just walking and totally feeling like military looking. And this is what the Palestinian people are living under. And I couldn't help but like to be fearful of them. But then I had to look past their uniform and see into their eyes. And I see they're so young. And I have a picture that I came up to one and I talked to him and I spoke English and then I hugged him and we had a picture together. And for me, that was for me to relieve my judgment and my, because I don't want to have an enemy. But as I walked in Palestine, I can feel why people feel like they gotta have aggression and to do and resist and use violence, because they're under violence. And so for me, as a monk walking through that, I felt conflicted to have that mental, that's violence, like I was saying, mental violence. It's like I look over there, immediately I have a judgment. I mean, you can't, it's understandable, it's scary. And they were following us one time too, because there was this group that, this kind of underground group that was showing us the environment. They were amazing. They were ex-military people in the IDF, and they, young men and women woke up from their military service, and now they're underground, and they were showing us the tour. And at one point, it was scary. They started following us. And I remember, that's nothing compared to people who live there. But I just want to share that I had to come up there and hug this one guy and get to know who he is. And I have a picture of it. And for me to relieve my own hate and my violence. You understand that part? So in your work, in whatever you do, you need to protect ourselves so we don't contribute more to a dualistic, they are the enemy. So this is so very important in Buddhism, is not become dogmatic and have a dualistic way of us against other. Anytime you have that, please take a break, meditate, and look more deeply into interbeing. They are also a victim. But do your work, challenge as best as you can the system, because this is it's systemic, meaning they thought about it and they're doing it organized. So we need that's what Thai did, our teacher, during the war in Vietnam, and we need to continue that front as well, to challenge the systems that promote and train our youth to think aggressively. But thank you for your concern, and please help us to spread more peace and compassion.
Yeah, it's really nerve-wracking being up here. My heart's pounding. Anyways, thank you for the opportunity. My question, if I can remember it now that I'm sitting up here in front of all of you, is if you have felt hurt or betrayed by someone, or you have hurt and betrayed someone else, but there is no opportunity for reconciliation, how do you find forgiveness within yourself, forgive the other person, let go and move on?
So dear community, in my practice, it's always important to me to reconcile within myself. Just like the other day, Sister D offered Dhamma talk about the beginning new practice. So it's also very important that you do beginning anew. We do beginning anew within ourselves first. Only until we can begin anew or reconcile within ourselves, then we can do with the other person or the other party that involved into the issue. So on my part, if I, it's difficult to because I don't remember that I right now in a situation that I hurt or betrayed someone else, but I can relate to other experience. And also my practice is always coming back to check my intention. Whether something that I recognize or someone told me that I was or I have been unskillful, then I do come back to check my intention. That was really, like something that I'm totally unaware of, or it was my intention. Hurting someone because of my habit energy, I was unskillful. What was my state of body and mind in that moment? Then it's easier for me to forgive myself, to reconcile. But then it comes to like it was my intention that I want to do something not kind. That would be more difficult. And of course, in your question that you asked, but if there's there's no opportunity to do reconcile, then I have to reconcile within myself, and also to kind of to really learn a lesson, and not to repeat it again, because something that that happened in the past or it's already it happened. If we cannot redo it, then in the present moment we recognize it and admit our unskillfulness, and then to do better now and in the future. So that is how I practice in my day. Always, to check my actions of body, speech and mind. Sometimes if it's hurting, it's harmful to someone, check and check my intention, and also check my aspiration. Being a practitioner, being a nun, my aspiration is not doing harm to myself, not doing harm to others, and not doing harm to both. And if it's not in that direction, then I have to, I really have to check my practice and to practice. In the other case that someone's hurting me or betrayed me, and I also kind of bring into all the conditions, causes and conditions, to see that where that person is coming from. Is it really their intentions, or it's just their unskillfulness? And why I react, or I react, or I take in that way. Also checking within myself that is it really something that person, or something that just from me, and then the way I receive it and related to it. And most of the time that I see, even like someone's doing something unskillful to me, but I always see that that's my part in it too. So it's not something that just because the way I'm receiving it, the way I see it, that is I contributed in a big part in how I feel hurt, how I feel betrayal. And I always, also my practice is always remember that I can only take care of my practice and doing my part. I have a very limitation to do something that is outside of me. So it's important that I have to take care of my hurt. I have to take care of my how I feel. And to reconcile within myself. And once I'm able to reconcile within myself, it's to reconcile with the other person is not important anymore. And that is also in all other kind of situations too, that I'm always just taking care of myself, because that is something that I can do. Whether that person's still there or not, that this is something that I can do, and I can only do this. Even the other person is there, but then the condition is not supportive, it's not sufficient for us to begin anew or to reconcile. Then this is also out of my that's something that I cannot do, because if both is not ready and both not practicing, it's not successful. So it's important that I come back to myself to really take care of the thing that inside, and to reconcile and to begin anew within in myself. Yeah. Thank you.
This Sangha is 12:30, and probably everyone already know it because your tummy is telling you. So this will be the last question. We're sorry for... Oh, thank you. Very understandable right away. And we know that there are written questions. We have a stack here, but we're sorry we couldn't answer it. We'll give it to the person that's giving the talk tomorrow. Hopefully that individual can address a few of the questions, or maybe all. We don't know, or maybe none. So just to give that person some space. So we'll listen to one sound the bells, and then we'll hear the last question.
Dear Sangha, brothers and sisters in Thai, thank you all for being here. I'll try to be quick so we can go. I'll go eat. My question is around intimate relationships and love and self-compassion and compassion for others in that intimate dynamic. I once heard Thai say that when your partner is a bomb, then you should learn to deactivate the bomb, diffuse, thank you. And I was hoping perhaps y'all can share some insights on how I can understand what that means, especially in the context of something I heard Sister D say around when a relationship doesn't feel nourishing, it's okay to walk away as an act of self-love and action. Thank you.
What do monks and nuns know about relationship? We're all bachelors and bachelorettes. We used to have a couples retreat here a long time ago, and the ladies just stay there, the guys, and then we do walking meditation, and then you can't hold hands. And they have many insights, and afterwards they touch the earth to each other to pay respect to each other. Very beautiful. And they share their aspiration to each other and what they not only want in the relationship, but in life, in what's meaningful to them. So in intimate relationship, before you going into one, you need to know how to take care of yourself, your inner intimacy. So it's very important that those who want to have the intimate relationship to actually go to retreats and know themselves first. In fact, Thai's vision is that to have a retreat specifically on that theme, and then you leave the retreat with a certificate that says, I'm qualified now to be in relationship. And so when you find a partner, it's like you have a certificate from Deer Park. Yeah, and what it says on there is like that I know how to take care of myself. I know my weaknesses, I know my strength. I know what has been transmitted to me, and I know how to be happy by myself. I know how to take care of my suffering by myself. And I know that it is the same for others, and so I will not expect that from others. And I will not project my own suffering and upbringing onto others. It will say all of that. And then when you find your partner, it's like, wow, you know how to do all that? Man, I got to go to that retreat. Do you see the intention? And this is why a lot of couples don't make it, because they come into a relationship expecting, and they don't have their stuff worked out. And so you can't even take care of yourself. Now you got another person, and they don't know how to take care of themselves. Now you're interesting scenario, because you back and forth. I go around the world collecting happy couples. Oh, it's serious. It's a rare species now. And I say that because it is. Not many couples make it very far. And I found all of them have an aspiration. They have meaning and purpose. They have a spiritual development, personal spiritual development, and they support each other. So it's not implosive. It's like, oh, you're my only one. You're always there for me. And it's like, it's just implosive. So the love that they have for each other needs to include a greater love for humanity, for their environment, for a cause that is greater than this. And when you see that in your partner, like, wow, you respect them and you want to support them, and then they know about your aspiration and they want to support you. So all the partners that I've known that are happy, they all have that. They're not just all obsessed with each other, They all have some kind of meaning to be in this world. It's very, very consistent. And it's very beautiful, actually, because it doesn't diminish their love for each other. And so that's one thing to look into. What are you going to do with your life besides, partnering up and so on? It's a miracle to be alive, and you will go to the earth. So you give in this miracle of consciousness, and you know what is good for humanity, for yourself, for your family. What are you going to do with that energy in this 70-year, 80-year, 90-year span? So please, before you go into relationship, find that calling for yourself. And it doesn't have to be great, like save the world kind of thing. It's just whatever that is for you. It could be, I want to be a bus driver. That brings me happiness. That is what I'm going to do wholeheartedly. I'm going to be a grocery person. Whatever that is, doesn't have to be great, but you do it and you love it and you find meaning and you contribute to it. So this is something very important in the intimacy. We have to reframe it so it's not so implosive. This I do stuff can be very, it's all good the first 2 or 3 years, but then you live together. If you're not careful, the I do becomes, oh boy. So this is something consistently. You see that our culture is not, the way it's set up, it's not very supportive. So I'll just end here. The calligraphy is love in oneself and love for the world, for others. Right? Peace in oneself, you can replace that. And just remember that. So when you find that greater love, that will fuel your love for each other in the partner and then in the family. People can feel that. So good luck. Yes? Thank you.